Jim Rogers was well known in the 80s for shorting gold. How do I say that? In this book I'm reading, written in 1989, the author was talking about how he's talking about some other very successful traders. He goes, yeah, and Jim Rogers is known for his for making great esoteric trades like shorting gold, right? And so in the 80s, Jim Rogers was one of those big gold shorters, okay? So he could, so just realize that he goes short and he goes long, right? If he's going short in the 80s, he's probably shorting these metals at times in the last few years also. So anyhow, I think the wrong question is, has silver bottomed, right? I think the right question is, has the overreaction to the upside been matched yet by the overreaction to the downside? If you study the history of markets in psychology, overreactions to the upside are pretty much matched by overreactions to the downside on things that are traded, right? Whenever there's an overreaction to the upside, there's almost always an overreaction to the downside. And there's a lot of psychology and so forth, but you study markets and you see that this happens over and over again many, many, many times. So, silver had an overreaction to the upside. The question you should ask yourself is, has the overreaction to the downside yet matched the overreaction to the upside? And that is more of a philosophical question that you should be asking yourself as opposed to individual price points. The answer is, I'm not sure yet, right? I'm not sure if the overreaction to the downside has matched the overreaction to the upside. I'm not sure yet. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. But that's the question to ask yourself. So there are a lot of people who are saying they want silver to go lower. They want silver to go to 14 or 10 or whatever. So now if you wish these things, just be aware of what you are wishing. What you are wishing for is a phenomenon that will cause people to die. Okay, let me explain. So you hear in a lot of these stories about how in these big stock market crashes, like in 1929, stockbrokers jumped out of the window, right? It wasn't because they were holding stocks, it was because they got wiped out, and also because they were riding the mania depression train of price action. I've been on that train. I've been on the crazy train, right? Oh, where's the Ozzy Osbourne shot? I should play the whatever. Because you've seen my videos. When it was going up, I didn't think it would come down this hard at the time. I really didn't. I actually thought I was going to go to 65 before it pulled back, but I didn't say that because I wasn't sure and I didn't want to give advice, which is, predictive advice about price targets. But so anyhow, you saw the sentiment. You saw all the manic sentiment, right, on the way up. It was over exuberant, right? Well, these markets are bipolar, which means when there's mania, there's also depression, right? A lot of people were feeling mania. Right now, there are people who are feeling depression, right? Depression's a horrible thing. Now, if the price goes lower, there'll be even more depression, right? So the stockbrokers who jumped out of the window, a lot of them were flying high. They were really rich, and then suddenly they were broke. They went from that manic high to a very low depression very quickly. And their whole sense of being was tied into, their whole identity was tied into this being a high-flying, rich person trader stuff, right? And then when that was crashed, they jumped out the windows, right? And that's, very tragic. So now with silver, obviously, I don't think silver had nearly the impact of a lot of these people who were doing trading on extreme leverage and getting wiped out. Because obviously, silver, if the price of silver gets cut in half, people's, the value, what their silver can buy gets cut in half, but it doesn't go to 0 or it doesn't go to 1%, right? So, I mean, hopefully, no one's going to kill himself over silver. I really hope that nobody kills himself over silver. But if you look at actuary tables, the people at these insurance companies who look at, the rates of people dying and what causes them to die, it is pretty sobering, right? In my channel, with 10,000 people subscribing, on a regular basis, people who are watching my channel die from some reason, right? I really hope that if people who are watching these silver channels, if there's a death, it was something that couldn't have been prevented, right? So, what I'm saying is when you see the manic highs, when silver overreacts to the upside, you will see depressive lows when silver reacts to the downside. And this, the manic high and the depressive lows, for people who are really that demoralized, a huge part of it is the price, is how much wealth they've lost, right? Because, for example, I've seen videos when it was trendy to make bullion videos. People from their bullion collection a few years ago. Like I remember one guy did a video where he had 49 ounces of silver. He's a young guy. He was very proud and happy of that. And it's like, hey, if you're a young person and you're out of debt and you have a positive savings, then you're ahead of the population. So that was a good thing. But 49 ounces of silver, if the price gets cut in half, it's not going to cause a stockbroker jumping out of a window sensation, because, yeah, it kind of sucks, you know. But I'm concerned about people who have huge sums of money in this stuff, right? So I'm hoping that, because, you know, this is not a leveraged instrument, that people will not be in that boat. Yeah, you lose half your money. That really sucks. There are people who are saying they lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Yeah, that really sucks. And I know the mantra that, you know, this is a long-term investment. But here are the things. People have real-life expenses. For example, if someone someone has a car that breaks down and you got to buy a new car, right? You can't wait 5 years to buy the new car. You're buying the new car now. So which means that you have to sell twice as much silver as before. You've lost twice as much silver to get that new car, and that's not fun. Or someone has to buy a house, right? Someone, you know, there's something that happens in their life. They say, we're going to buy a house. Most people don't postpone buying a house for many years, right? They're buying a house now, and they might take a big hit right now, because time is a huge factor of money, right? It's huge because our lifespans are limited. So within our lifespan, we have to make decisions that we can't have the luxury of waiting for things. So silver is green right now, but really, I'm not wishing for silver to go lower, right? Even if people don't jump out of the window, I don't wish pain on people. There are people feeling pain. You might not get that because most of the comments you see on these popular social channels is bravado. Oh yes, I want to go down, but listen, right? The people who are in pain aren't posting, guess what? I'm in great pain. I'm suffering, right? It's horrible. Most people are not doing that. But when you see a price action like this, there are people feeling the pain, right? For example, the University of Texas, who bought all that gold when it was much, much higher, right? Someone might be losing their job for that. Even if the price of gold hits all new highs in the years to come, the fact of the matter is the University of Texas, right? They've got stuff going on in the short term. So, like, I don't wish to inflict pain on people. So, if this is the floor for silver, that might be great from one perspective. But here's the other perspective, right? When people want to go, people who are avid skiers say, I hope it snows. Well, you got to realize that when you're saying you hope it snows, you're hoping for more deaths. Because when the roads are slippery, there are more car accidents and more deaths. But of course, the person going skiing isn't causing the death. So I mean, just something to think about. You know, I'm not saying I'm right about this. I might change my mind, but these are just food for thought. So thanks for watching, and I hope you thunk something.